This is Steve Curtis, Customer Experience Lead for Columbus Global. Today I'm with Stephen Fox and Craig Hamer, and we're looking at sales relationship insights as part of your Dynamics 365 for Sales capability. Most of the use of Dynamics for sales is business to business sales. And when it comes to businesses interacting with other corporate clients, those sales are based on trust and very strong relationships. And trust is the number one reason for being able to close deals. Price actually comes down, very low. It's only 13%, whereas trust is 39%, according to a number of different surveys. And what do buyers want from sellers? Um, they want the seller to be able to understand and know the business. They want them to be able to communicate in the right way, and they want them to focus on the impact post sale, the ability to change the business and the communication post sale, not just pre sale. The last one is to give the buyer true insights and perspective on the business. I mean, it's not good enough just being able to understand your product. It's being able to apply the product to the business and give insights on how the business could potentially change in the future. Um, Less than 1 in 5 of salespeople are seen as trusted advisors into business. And the thing is that in order to be able to build up relationships and move to a much more personal state, you've got to think about relationship building and ability to do productivity. The focus at the moment is much more on productivity and much less on relationship building. And what Microsoft have done, really, if you think about it in the context of the wider sphere, buyers have CRM tools. We have social networks that gather and deliver information both to sales guys and to businesses. And then we have a number of sales productivity tools. So in the Microsoft context, these three come into three major buckets of Dynamics 365, LinkedIn, which is one of the biggest professional social networks in the world, and then Office 365, which is the productivity tools that are used by the majority of large businesses around the world. And if you're able to link these three together, don't just think this in terms of CRM and sales. Think about the impact that you could have in a sales management tool, tied together with your LinkedIn capability and tied together tightly with your Office 365 capability. That gives you a very, very strong, compelling, unified relationship tool, because LinkedIn tells you all about the business and where the business is going, tells you about contacts, gives you possible leads. I've run another webinar specifically on the LinkedIn capability that you can view if you want to. And then Office 365 gives you the internal communication tools, and it gives you the contact management tools such as Exchange Server working with Outlook. If you wrap over the top of that an engine that uses artificial intelligence, so if you think about Azure and the cognitive services within Azure, you could possibly then think about, okay, how can Microsoft take advantage of those AI tools to be able to pull all this information together in something that will be really valuable for me in sales? And I'm going to show you a little bit of that later. The final part of that puzzle then is to overlay this with insights. And insights allow you then to look at the LinkedIn information, the Office 365 information, and your CRM information, and bubble that through in a number of charts and information views for the sellers and for sales management. And this allows you from a business perspective to start thinking about, pushing hard on your time to quota, pushing hard on your lead to opportunity conversion, being able to increase the revenue per customer because they're much more satisfied with you as a business seller. And the output of that then is the improvement of productivity from the sellers, not just focusing purely on being able to improve productivity. So Dynamics 365 for sales, if it's done right, will allow you to build relationships, sell smarter, boost your internal productivity for your sellers, and accelerate their sales performance and the sales performance of the group. Now, these are some screens that show you this in action. You can embed and you can see LinkedIn insights about your accounts, about your contacts, and be able to use LinkedIn directly from within Dynamics 365. And it updates this information on the fly within Dynamics 365. It has integrations both ways to push from LinkedIn into Dynamics 365 and then to jump out from Dynamics 365 into LinkedIn as needed. So that is really, really powerful to help you within Dynamics 365 to build the relationships that you need. You then are able to start thinking about your relationships and keep those relationships on track. Now, one of the things that this does is it goes into your Exchange server and it looks at the communications that are going on your Exchange server between people in your business and people in the client. And it allows you, therefore, to be able to see the open opportunities by relationship and whether that's improving, whether it's good, whether it's poor, etc. Very, very powerful capability that you have within your hands. And then the final output of this is the ability to boost your productivity. So this links together the different capabilities, including Dynamics 365, including the business process maps, including LinkedIn, and then on the other side, linking in your Outlook client. So the one on the right-hand side, you can see Dynamics 365 surfacing directly within Outlook. We've done separate webinars about LinkedIn and about Outlook within this series. Finally, this then allows you to push and accelerate your sales performance. Power BI and out-of-the-box dashboards to track performance are available to you. Here we can see the Dynamics 365 Sales Manager. And on the right-hand side, we can see a gaming tool that allows you to drive and motivate sellers from a gaming perspective. So you can set up teams, have those teams compete with each other and have awards surfacing through based upon games that you set up and define. So as a summary on this, the analysts now are definitely positioning Microsoft in the leader quadrant. This is one of those examples with Forrester, and the way that Forrester do it, you can see that Microsoft is in a very strong position as far as selling and relationship sales is concerned. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to spend 5 minutes and just have a little look at one example of the way that AI can be brought to bear for sellers over your Dynamics 365 for Sales application. So I've now come over to Dynamics 365 Sales Insights. This is an AI-based tool that allows the system, and this is linked into Azure and Azure services, it allows the system to analyze the conversations, and these are analyzing the phone conversations between your sellers and the clients. So we have 3 views available to us here, and it's over a custom time frame. And you can see that we can see what the customers are talking about in the sales calls. We can see the sentiment analysis of our customers, positive, negative, and neutral calls. And we can see the brands that our customers are talking about and our internal sales guys are talking about within the sales calls. We can then start to distinguish between the difference between the talk and the listen ratio for your top sellers versus the rest of the team. And this allows you to start to softly educate and tune your salesmen to be able to hopefully be able to sell better in the future. Other types of figures, so switches, 36 switches per hour rather than 33, which is the team average. And then if we start drilling down into some of the other detail in here, we have an overview of the team level, looking at the sentiment by sales reps, sentiment by time, who's generating the most positive comments and who is using the most positive comments by the sales rep. We can look down into the listening versus sales time, talking speed, highest monologues and longest monologues. This is amazing statistics coming out of Dynamics 365 for Sales. And we can go even further So what we can see here is we can see one of our sellers, and we can drill down between all our different sellers, and we can look at their average talking speed, switch per conversation, pause times, monologues, and even further into this, we can start to go down into the call history itself. So I can view the transcript of the calls. I can look at the related opportunity for which this call is actually happening. And then we can start to see the actual trail and the transcript of the call itself. And at different times, we can see different keywords being pulled up and mentioned by the customer. And this allows us to be able to analyze at a very, very detailed level a call transcript and be able to mirror that relative to a related opportunity that we have within Dynamics 365. So to summarize today, relationship selling within Dynamics 365 for Sales allows you to build stronger relationships with your clients, allows you to sell smarter, boost the productivity of your salespeople, and therefore generate and accelerate sales performance for your business. This is Steve Curtis, Customer Experience Lead for Dynamics. Please ask any questions that you have at the bottom of the screen.